Alright guys, so welcome to the lesson for today. As you can see, the goal for today is that we can describe what cell division is and also explain how it can cause cancer. Now, like being aware of the goal here, if we are going to touch on a sensitive topic, okay, cancer. So if you feel that it is too much, if you feel emotional, um, I am quite happy for you to, um, leave the WebEx classroom, and then maybe come back to this later. Okay. Let me know. I understand. Okay. Um, so yeah. So just be aware that we are going to be dealing with a sensitive issue. Okay. All right. So let's get started. All right, guys. So here's our APK for today. A bit of a dad check here for you. But what do you know about cell division and why do we need it? Okay, so have a think about it, guys. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds. Okay, so probably about 10 more seconds to think about our APK here. Okay, and moving on. All right, so today we are going to learn about mitosis, and I need your undivided attention. Okay. So first of all, mitosis. So mitosis is the process of cell division that produces what we call somatic cells. Okay, and somatic cells are cells that are not sperm or egg cells. Okay, so think about skin cell, hair cell, blood cell. Okay, those are somatic cells. Okay, any cells that are not sperm or egg cells. Okay, so now we need to fill in a few of these blank spaces here. So mitosis allows the body to grow and do something. Okay, and then the next one, mitosis creates two something cells that are genetically identical to the parent cell. Somatic cells are diploid, and diploid means that it carries two sets of genetic material. Okay. Okay, so let's try and fill in some of the blank spots here. So here's my pen. All right, so mitosis allows the body to grow and something damaged. So the word we're looking for here is to repair the damage. And mitosis creates two something cells. So if you have a look at the image on the right here, you can see that it's going to create two daughter cells. Okay, so we just call the original cell the parent cell, and then the cells that we make from the process, the daughter cells. Okay, and the important bit about this is the daughter cells, they have the same genes, okay, the same DNA as the parent cell. So each of these cells, they carry two sets of genetic material. Okay, so remember that in human, we get some some genes from our father and then some genes from the mother. Now, let's see if you guys remember how many chromosomes we get from the father and how many we get from the mother. Okay, so that number would be 23 from the father and 23 from the mother. Okay, so I'll let you guys write down the notes later. I'm gonna go move on quickly through these. If you are okay, so what I would like you guys to be able to do, okay, out of this lesson is at least I would like you guys to be able to tell me what mitosis is, what we get out from mitosis, okay, and why we have mitosis. If you are interested in knowing more about this whole process, then there's a bit of extension reading here that you can go through by yourself. And also it goes through step by steps all the stages of mitosis. Okay, and you can see here it's kind of like a cycle. Why? Because it happens every single day, right? Our body needs to repair itself every single day. The cells in our body they get old, they die, but then they need new cells to replenish the dead cells, right? So this cycle happens every day. Now moving on. Oh, actually, there's a bit more information on mitosis here. And here's a riddle for you. What multiplies by division? A bit of a math riddle, kind of, maybe. What multiplies by division? And it's cells, right? Cells multiplies by division. All right, like, okay. Moving on, we've got meiosis. Okay, so mitosis and meiosis. So meiosis is cell division that produces gametes. Okay, and gametes, they are basically another name for sex cells. Okay, so I wonder if you guys remember what types of sex cells there are. The sex cells that we have for human would be sperm and eggs. Oh, missing an S there. Sperms and eggs. So gametes, they are haploid. Okay, and haploid because they carry only half the genetic material. Okay, so that's probably an easy way to remember that. Haploid, half, half, right? And then di in the diploid. So think like, so di means two, right? If you remember from year 7, we learned about the dichotomous key. That's where you have a tree diagram that branches into 2 branches. So same thing here. Di means 2. Okay. So gametes are haploid. They carry only half the genetic material. Now what that means is, since in the cell we have 46 chromosomes, the sperms and the egg cells, they only have 23 chromosomes. Okay, and what happens then is that when a sperm meets an egg, they combine together and they make 46 in total. Okay, so meiosis would create 4 unique something cells. So if we have again a look at the diagram on the right, we can see that it's going to be 4 unique daughter cells. Okay, and the genetics would be different to the parent cell. So different from the mitosis. In mitosis, the daughter cells, it is identical genetically to the parent cell. Okay, in meiosis, the genetic of the daughter cells is different. Okay, And that is very important because you want genetic diversity. Okay, you don't want people to have the same genetics, because what that means that if someone gets a disease, the other person would have a disease as well, would have the same disease, right? Um, and so to have this genetic diversity is a way for us to protect ourselves, really. So meiosis is very important for sexual reproduction and provide genetic diversity. Okay, and that's why you may look similar to your parents, but you are still different. You are you. Okay, um, and again, there's some more extension reading if you are interested in meiosis. If you think that, hey, next year I'm gonna go into biology, okay, or if if you're really focused on you know um, going to university and becoming a doctor, um, then I would recommend reading these extension reading. Okay, but for at this stage, for us at Year 9 level, I just need you to know what meiosis is, what gametes are, what is it important for. Okay, and again, you can see here that meiosis got different stages. If you compare to the number of stages to mitosis, it is more elaborate. Okay, it's got more stages in there. And just a funny picture here for you. And then let's move on here. Okay. There's also this video here that you can watch. I think I'll let you watch it by yourself. Okay, and it goes into in depth about mitosis and meiosis. Again, if you are interested in there. But right now, what I would like us to do is we're going to do this together. We're going to compare mitosis and meiosis based on the few dot points that we saw before. And also, I just want to bring your attention to the fact that we need both meiosis and mitosis in order to survive as a human race. Okay, as human population. Okay, so if we all go on to this link here, so if you got Compass opening, where is it? Here we go. If you got Compass open, click on this link here, it will bring you to the Google Docs. So we've done something like this before. Okay, I can see right now we've got one person signing on. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to click on this link here. Okay, I've got 2 people. So for the people who are on the Google Docs already, you can have a look at the keywords down here and think about where can we put the keywords in this table. Where do we find? So it is on Compass. I believe it is dot point number 3. Yes, it is dot point number 3 right here. So if you go into Compass, go to the lesson for today, click on this link, and you would get to this Google Docs here. All right. So let's go through these together. Okay, I can see the anonymous grizzly bear already in the table. So the first one, grow, where do you think that would go? You guys can copy and paste the word into the table there for me. If you guys need any hints, you can go back to the PowerPoint and read the notes again. Okay. So for example, we've just talked about meiosis. And remember that meiosis happens when we have reproduction, right? So we can copy and paste this in there. Oh, shouldn't have. There we go. Okay. So okay, so we're almost done. All right, so just in the interest of time, let's go through some of the last ones together. So first of all, remember what diploid means. So diploid means that it's got two sets of genetic material, one from the dad, one from the mom. And that means that for human, we would have 46 chromosomes altogether, 23 from the dad, 23 from the mom, okay? And for meiosis, it creates haploid cells, and haploids means that it's got half the genetic material. That means 23 chromosomes. Let's get rid of this and this one. Okay, so what else do we have? And they both start with a single parent cell. Okay. And they both produce new cells. And they both also get their genetic material from the parent cell. Okay. So this is the comparison between meiosis and mitosis. Okay. So let's go back to our PowerPoint here. Now moving on. So like I said before, we're talking about a very sensitive subject. So cancer. Okay, so cancer is a variety of diseases that caused by an uncontrolled division of abnormal cells. Okay, so there's two important parts there. First of all, it has to be an uncontrolled division, and second, it is division of abnormal cells. Okay, most of the time they go hand in hand. So the DNA of a cell's something when the cells multiplies and when it dies. So if you guys remember, the DNA of a cells controls when the cells multiply and when it dies. Now, however, the DNA can sometimes become damaged, and this damage is caused by radiation, viruses, or chemicals. Okay, and the chemicals that can cause damage to the cell is called mutagens. Okay, and the reason why we call them mutagens is because it is an agent, a chemical agent that can cause mutation in the DNA. Okay, that's what mutagens means. So if this damage is not detected or repaired, okay, then it can cause the cell to multiply uncontrollably instead of dying. So when the cells go through division, okay, it would have to check that the DNA is intact, is okay. But if it doesn't detect that there is a damage, and if it can't detect it, it can't repair it, then um, what happens is that if the DNA is damaged, normally the cell would die. But if the cell can't detect this damage, then it will just keep multiplying, okay? And that's what can cause cancer. So we have two types of tumors, okay? First of all, first one is a benign tumor. And a benign tumor is a mass of cells that divide too much but can't invade other tissues, okay? And um, and benign tumors usually, they say, once you found out that there's sort of like a lump in your body or someone that you know, um, and then you go and test it, and if the doctor says that, hey, this tumor is benign, that means that you haven't got cancer yet, okay? Um, and you can still treat it, and not a lot of time you treat it by surgery. You just take it out and you'll be fine, okay? However, okay, however, is that when a cell multiplies, okay, the DNA can mutate, okay, and the cells multiply through, and I hope that you remember from today's lesson, is cells multiply through mitosis, okay, just um, in our everyday life, like cells multiply through mitosis, and the DNA can mutate, okay. Now, just a side note here, most of the time mitosis would be the cause for mutation, okay? So every time it multiplies, it can mutate most of the time. Not to say that meiosis can't mutate DNA. Meiosis can, but it is very, very rare. And the reason for that is because, first of all, meiosis creates gametes, right? Sperms and egg cells. And only like it's only used in reproductions, and say, like if you decide to have one or two child, that means that one egg meets one sperm, okay? Um, or in the case, two children, then that's two eggs and two sperms, okay? So the chances that you get dangerous mutation is low. Second, meiosis only produce one egg. Meiosis only produce egg cells and sperm cells once. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't say once. But what it means is that it stops the moment it produces eggs and sperm cells. Okay, these eggs and the sperm cells, they don't multiply themselves. Okay, you just create lots and lots of them. But because the eggs and the sperm cell, they don't multiply themselves, so they have less chance of mutate. Okay, so that's why mitosis. So that's why mutations occurs most of the time through mitosis. Very rarely it happens through meiosis. Okay, it can happen, and sometimes the child can, if it is a dangerous mutation, the child can get cancer. Okay, but it's very rare. Now, when the damaged cells go through multiple cycles of mitosis, then the DNA can mutate enough, and that would give it the ability to invade other tissues. Okay, and when it does get this ability to invade other tissues, it has become a cancer cell. And a group of cancer cells is called a malignant tumor. Okay, and if you get into the advanced stage of cancer, then what you can see that is that there is going to be major changes to the DNA. Okay, all right, and finally, all right, the tumors, both types of tumors, benign or malignant, they can be treated either using surgery or medications, radiation, chemotherapy. If you are more interested, okay, there's a few links here that you guys can watch and go through and read. Okay, so for the work, there's two worksheets this time. We've got mitosis and meiosis. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video here. It is quite a long one. So thank you guys for those who have come to the WebEx. And also if you are watching the video, then thank you as well.